Hey guys, Jacob here. It is the 25th of April 2023, and this is going to be this week's vendor reset. At the vendor at the front desk this week, they are selling the Zero F's chest piece, which has perfectly unbreakable. If you guys are looking for a decent chest piece that's a Badger Tough, that is the Zero F's, I'd highly recommend grabbing this one because you can get rid of health and put something like armor regen or critical hit chance, and then just optimize the armor and critical hit damage, and you have a pretty solid chest piece. Next is going to be the 511 backpack that has max weapon handling if you guys are looking for that for your stat library, but that's going to be about it for the front desk vendor. Now if we go under the helipad, you guys will see the double white doors right here. And that's going to be the clan quarters. Shout out to DOD and Kamikaze Von Doom. And then go right here. This is where the clan quarters is located. This week he is selling the Everyday Carrier. This is the named perfectly efficient chest piece. If you guys don't have this, I'd highly recommend picking it up because for one, it already has armor regen on it. It already has max armor. You get really explosive and put something else like hazard or even critical hit, and you have a pretty solid chest piece. They're also selling it at Carios if you guys need damage to armor on pistols. And that's going to be about it for gear. They're also selling a bleed resistant mod for 9% if you guys need that. But that's going to be about it for the front desk and the clan vendor. Next is going to be the theater settlement, which is located on the right side of the map. Get a fast travel over there real quick. And we're here. And this week he is selling the lefty shotgun. This is the named AA-12, the second named AA-12 in the game. Besides the rock and roll, we now have two. So if you guys don't have this, I'd highly recommend picking it up. This one's not too bad. And of course, you can get rid of things like damage charge out cover and change it to something else. And damage to armor and shotgun you can max. And I think this is a pretty decent one. You can just optimize it or roll higher damage to armor and then just optimize shotgun damage, and you have a pretty decent lefty shotgun. He also has the UI C15, which is the Mod 2 DMR, or what you want to call it, marksman rifle or rifle. It has 15 rifle damage if you guys need that. But that's going to be about it for the theater settlement. Thanks. Next is going to be the campus settlement, which is going to be located on the left side of the map. And as soon as you spawn in, just run straight until you see the giant tree, and then take a left and you will see the campus settlement vendor. Alright, we're here. Just run straight ahead. Run all the way down the sidewalk and take a left and you'll see the vendor right here.
Glad to see
this week she's selling the Night Watcher mask. It's the Helo Guard Night Watcher, which has 100% scanner pulse haste. If you're new, I'd highly recommend grabbing one of these just so you have one, but they sell these things all the time. And it's just one of those items where you see literally 24/7 they have for sale in the vendors. At least one vendor is selling them, but if you're new, recommend grabbing at least one. Next is going to be the GR9 with max reload speed if you guys need that for your stat library. I still have not found a decent one of these. It's probably one of my favorite LMGs in the game, or probably my favorite LMG in the game because it has 200 rounds in the magazine. It's a little slower compared to some of the other ones, but it's still pretty awesome. I love it. Maybe one of these days they'll have one for sale that's actually worth grabbing. But that's me about it for the campus settlement. Next is going to be the castle settlement, which, yeah, you heard that right, the castle settlement. Now we have the castle back, so we actually have a vendor we can go in here and actually buy stuff from, which is awesome because forever, which you guys know for a few years, this place was just a wasteland. It had nothing to do here. You just go over here and it was covered in DC-62. Now we actually have a vendor, crafting bench, stuff like that. And if you just walk up here and boom. It's not a person. It's just like a little place you can go right here and buy stuff from, like a bench. But this week they're selling the Darkness. If you guys are going to have this, I'd recommend grabbing just so you can collect all the named gear and weapons. But that's going to be about it for the theater, campus, and castle, which I can't believe I'm saying castle still because that's, like I said, for the longest time we never had a vendor here. It's pretty awesome that I can actually go here and buy stuff from. And the castle has been back for a minute, so this is nothing really new, but to me it's still pretty fresh that you can actually go here. Because we haven't really had any environmental change in this game for quite a while now. But next is going to be the dark zones. We have DZ West, East, and South. We're going to go to West first. And if you are new or if you've never really been to DZ, keep this in mind, you will have to use DZ resources you can use to buy things that are at these vendors. You have to go into the DZ, deconstruct gear, and extract it, or go around opening these little tiny crates that have the resources in them, and you can buy stuff with those. But I wouldn't recommend wasting them unless they're selling something like the apartment or the rock and roll, or something you really, really want that has really good rolls. But this week he's selling the Baker's Dozen. You can get this anywhere in the world. It's not a DZ exclusive. At least I don't think it is. Last time I checked it wasn't. It's been a minute since I got one of these to drop. But I'm pretty sure this is an open world exclusive. You guys can get these pretty much everywhere. He is selling Murakami gloves, which have 10% hazard, and he is selling Grupo Sombra that have max armor regen. If you guys are looking for those, but like I said, you guys can get these pieces in the open world. I would not recommend buying anything unless it's something you really, really need, and spending your credits, because they are kind of a bit of a bitch to get in the dark zone, especially since there's other people in there and they can't seal them from you. But if you're just opening the crates and casually going in there, you can just keep collecting them over time and eventually buy something that you want. Next is going to be DZ South, which is going to be at the bottom of the map, all the way down here, and it's going to be her right here on the left.
I got it.
This week she's selling the Glory Days. You guys can get this in the open world. I've seen this for sale at the clan vendor before and the front desk vendor. I've actually seen this for sale twice, and I think it was at the theater once and at the campus once. At both times, so you could buy it, both of them, if you really wanted to. But this has perfect nearsighted on it if you guys are looking for this gun. But like I said, you can buy it in the open world. Max magazine size for SMGs if you guys need that. But that's going to be about it for DZ West and DZ South. And finally, we have DZ East, which is located on the right side of the map. I'm actually going to travel to the checkpoint because it's a little easier, because the entrance puts you way down the road and you have to run all the way to the checkpoint. You will get a loading screen, but to me it's better than sitting through the loading screen than having to run all the way down. And I still sometimes run all the way down. I don't know why, but instead of going there, just turn around, just walk out the checkpoint, and boom, she's right here on the left. This week she's selling the new reliable. This is the perfectly optimized 30% weapon handling LMG. You can get this in the open world as well, so I wouldn't recommend blowing 152 credits on it or resources. I'd wait till there's something like the rock and roll or maybe even a god roll apartment, because nothing sucks more than just wasting your credits on something you think you want, and then the next day there's an apartment for sale, and then you have to go back in and get entirely more resources. But if you're in the DZ all the time, then it doesn't really matter. You guys get people get resources all the time. But if you're someone who doesn't go in the DZ, then I can see why this may be a problem if you only want to save them for something else. That's going to be about it for DC. We covered the castle, the theater settlement, the base of ops, campus, and all the dark zones. Now we're going to be going to New York, aka Haven, which to this day only has 2 vendors, which to me is a little weird. Back in Division 1, a lot of you guys remember that every single safe room had a vendor, and every checkpoint in the DZ had a vendor. But that is no longer the case. Now we just have, the vendors in certain spots, and that's pretty much it.
Safe area.
As soon as you go up the stairs, you will see the first vendor, which is right here, which is going to be the front desk vendor in New York.
Hey.
And he pretty much sells all your basic gear if you need anything that's high end. He is selling a Vector. If you guys are looking for a Vector, this one's actually not too bad. I've been looking for one that's an SBR 9mm for a long time instead of the 45, so I'm probably going to pick this up because it's been taking me forever to actually find one. But pretty much your standard issue, high-end gear. If you guys need any of this stuff, I'd recommend grabbing it. Now for the final vendor, just take a left right here through the green tent, and then take a right. And then Roy Benitez will be standing right over here by the dog. He's right here.
How can I help you?
He's also selling a Vector. This is the stockless version, which has strained on it. He's also selling a Murakami Industries with max critical damage. If you guys need that for a DPS build, you can just take it off this and throw it in your stat library. Other than that, that's going to be about it for all the DZ and DC and New York vendors. And I do apologize for not uploading a vendor reset in quite a long time. I've been very busy and I'm trying to get the content rolling again, as you guys see. But I appreciate all the support and people who've been stopping in at some of the videos when I can't upload them. But thank you guys for all the support and all for watching. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Half 5 guns.